Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're looking into something we use constantly, maybe without even thinking about its real power. Our gaze.
That's right. We're exploring how vision, perception, both what's out there and what's inside, how it all shapes, well, pretty much everything.
And we're leaning on the wisdom of the great mystic Rumi or Maulana for this.
Exactly. This whole exploration is actually based on a really insightful discourse by Ustad Kouhpayeh. He's done a deep, meticulous analysis of Rumi's work on this very topic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he starts his original talk with this beautiful prayer. It sets this reflective spiritual tone right away, asking for truth, for insight.
Nice way to begin.
It is. So our mission today really is to pull out the key ideas. How does our eye, our perception, define us? And maybe more importantly, how can we actually cultivate a better, clearer way of seeing?
And cut through all the noise, maybe.
Precisely. Avoid that information overload, gain some real clarity.
So this idea that our essence is defined by our eye, that's quite a statement. Can you unpack that a bit? How do mystics like Rumi see this eye as more than just, physical sight?
Absolutely. For them, and especially Rumi, the core of being human isn't just the body or even just thoughts. It's fundamentally defined by this eye.
The way we see.
Exactly. Not the 20/20 vision chart kind of seeing, but vision, insight. It's the unique lens each of us has. It shapes how we see the world, other people, our relationships, even God. It's like a window onto everything.
Okay, I see.
And if you think about it that way, this gaze, this perspective, it becomes the deciding factor in almost every part of life.
Like how?
Well, your relationships, definitely. Your behavior, family stuff, social interactions, how you judge situations or people, it all stems from that initial perception. Ustad Kouhpayeh really brings this home with a quote from the poet Sohrab Saperi. "We are nothing but gaze."
Nothing but gaze. Wow.
Yeah. And the implication is huge. If you fundamentally change your perspective, your gaze, then your beliefs, your feelings, what you want, what you do, it all transforms. Your whole reality shifts.
So Rumi being Rumi, I imagine he doesn't just talk about one kind of eye. You mentioned different types.
Oh, absolutely. He gives us a whole spectrum far beyond just the physical outer eye or cheshime.
Like what else?
Well, there's the inner eye, cheshime or cheshmi dal. That's more about intuition, the heart's perception.
Okay.
Then you have the eye of intellect, cheshmiel, the eye of mind, cheshmiain, the eye of heart, cheshmiikol.
So many layers.
And it goes deeper. He mentions a hidden eye, cheshmi-kafi, a secret eye, cheshmi-kafa, suggesting these almost subconscious or deep spiritual ways of seeing.
Hidden and secret eyes.
Yeah, and even an imaginary eye, cheshmi-kafa. But then, quite sharply, he talks about the donkey's eye, cheshmi-kar.
The donkey's eye. What's that?
It's a metaphor, a really strong one, for just pure ignorance, a gaze that's sort of willfully blind, refusing to see or learn.
Ouch. Okay.
And he contrasts that directly with things like the eye of wisdom, cheshme karat, or the ultimate eye, cheshme ikban, which sees the end result, the consequences.
Seeing the bigger picture.
Exactly. And the pure eye, cheshme masag, which sees without distortion, without bias.
So recognizing this variety.
Yeah.
What's the point? Is it just interesting categories?
Not at all. It's really an invitation, I think, to recognize that our physical sight is just one tool, one lens. By working on our inner eye or eye of wisdom, we can perceive things way beyond the surface. It's how we cut through that noise we talked about.
Right, gain clarity. So if having these developed eyes is so valuable, what's the flip side? What does Rumi see as the worst state to be in?
Blindness. But again, not just the physical kind, inner blindness.
Spiritual blindness.
Yes, it's a state so profound, the sources link it to a Quranic verse about God sealing hearts, hearing, and sight. It's not just about senses, it signifies this deep spiritual blockage. You're closed off from truth itself.
This sounds serious.
It is. And Rumi uses this incredibly powerful metaphor for it. He says, "We who blindly wield our staffs inevitably break the lamps."
Break the lamps.
Yeah, imagine you're blindfolded in a room full of beautiful, fragile crystal lamps. These lamps, Rumi says, represent precious things inside us or between us, our hearts, respect, boundaries, maybe even opportunities.
Okay.
If you're blind, just flailing around with your staff, your actions, your words, your judgments, you just end up shattering these valuable things without even knowing it.
So living an unseeing life leads to destruction, basically, both inward and outward.
Exactly. It's a really stark warning about just drifting aimlessly without insight. You damage yourself and others.
Okay, that's a heavy thought. What about the evil eye, then? Most people think of that as, a superstition, someone putting a curse on you. Does Rumi see it differently?
He does, significantly. And Ustad Kouhpaye's analysis really clarifies this. For Rumi, it's less about external magic and more about something internal.
Internal. How so?
It's rooted in the human ego, in self-attachment. It's a distortion within us that can then project outwards with negative effect.
So it comes from inside.
Yes, and here's the really fascinating part. You can direct it at yourself, your own pride, your secret self-admiration, your ego, that can become a harmful gaze that actually damages your own spiritual path.
Wow. Okay, so self-obsession can be its own kind of evil eye.
Precisely. Rumi has this line in Ghazal 117, something like, "Come into the meadow and blind your sight, lest every gaze fall upon the community."
Blind your sight, meaning?
He means guard your eye, not just from others looking at you, but from your own undisciplined, ego-driven looking. Protect yourself from your own internal negativity.
That's a twist.
Isn't it? Rumi himself apparently felt he suffered wounds from the eye of every rootless and headless one. That could mean harm from undisciplined people, sure, but it also strongly suggests harm from the chaotic, uncontrolled parts of oneself, the ego.
Even someone like Rumi felt vulnerable to this.
Apparently so. It shows how deep this goes. He even says this harmful gaze can disgrace the sun and moon, meaning it can diminish any source of light or guidance. The real takeaway isn't fearing curses, but purifying our own inner gaze from ego.
That makes sense. And he uses such vivid imagery. You mentioned a prayer or metaphor earlier about a dog's eye, lions, Jesus' cradle, a donkey's back.
Ah, yes. That's incredibly potent. May the dog's eye be far from the lion's battle and far from the cradle of Jesus, the donkey's back.
So what's the code here? What do these symbols mean?
Okay, so the dog's eye represents base stuff. Greed, envy, judgment, the things that pull us down.
Got it. And the donkey's back.
That symbolizes impurity, lust, being attached to the lowest, most worldly things. It's like a defiled space.
Right. Contrasted with
The lion's battle, which isn't literal fighting, but the inner struggle. The fight between our higher intellect and ignorance, striving for spiritual growth.
the inner conflict.
Yes. And the cradle of Jesus, that's a symbol of ultimate purity, a sacred space for spiritual birth and wisdom.
Ah, I see the contrast now.
So the message is a warning. Letting lust, impurity, and base desires, the dog's eye, the donkey's back, near your inner spiritual struggle, the lion's battle, or your sacred potential, Jesus' cradle, will corrupt them. It hinders your growth.
And he says arrows fly from the eyes of the bad.
Right. Meaning these negative gazes, whether from others' envy or our own unchecked ego, they have real consequences. They can wound us spiritually. Our perception can literally be a weapon.
Okay, so if these negative gazes, these arrows, are real threats, how do we protect ourselves? What's the practical advice from Rumi?
He points towards solitude and seclusion, halwat and uzlat in Sufi terms. But it's not necessarily about just being physically alone.
More of an inner state.
Exactly. Solitude, halwat, means creating distance from your ego's demands, from those attachments. Seclusion, uzlat, is about confidently stepping back from worldly distractions, the noise of opinions.
Creating space.
Yes, it helps restore your energy, allows for that deep self-reflection. It becomes like an inner shield against their arrows, right? You build an internal sanctuary.
That makes sense.
Rumi also acknowledges it's tough to tell who has a true gaze and who doesn't. Even compliments can hide envy.
Tricky.
Very. So his advice is crucial. Seek out genuine guidance. Surround yourself with people who have sugar in their heart, those with pure intentions who genuinely support you. Avoid the fakes, the charlatans.
Choose your company wisely.
Absolutely. And he stresses silence and self-control. Especially, don't boast or praise yourself. That just attracts the wrong kind of attention, those harmful gazes. So build that inner fortress. Find true companions. That's your best defense.
This leads us nicely into, well, an even deeper layer, doesn't it? You mentioned Ustad Kouhpayeh's discussion of Ghazal 36:9 touches on the ontology of gaze. That sounds fundamental, like why and how do we perceive things at all?
It really does go to the root of perception. Rumi introduces this idea of the eye of the beloved, Cheshme Dildari.
The eye of the beloved, meaning God's gaze.
Essentially, yes, a divine gaze that is constantly observing us. But more than that, Rumi suggests our own vision isn't independent. It's a grace, a gift. In a way, we see through the divine even if we don't realize it.
We see through God.
Okay. And from there, he distinguishes between two basic ways of seeing, two outcomes of our gaze. One way is getting completely absorbed by the limited, finite world around us.
Which leads to
Which leads to what he graphically calls liver eating.
Liver eating. That sounds unpleasant.
It's meant to. It's a metaphor for how focusing only on the temporary, the finite, literally drains your life force, your spiritual energy. It results in these constant states of regret, sorrow, fear, comparing yourself to others, judging everything from a self-centered place.
So a limited view actually harms us internally.
Exactly. That's the gold nugget there. It comes at a real cost to our inner peace. But the other way of seeing
Yes.
is perceiving the divine in everything, seeing the infinite within the finite. And that kind of seeing brings profound, expansive joy.
Okay, so how do we shift from liver eating to joy? Rumi says, tell it to go away. What does that mean practically?
Right. Tell it to go away, big bro. It's not about literally pushing the world away. It's about a practice of constant mindfulness, constant remembrance, dhikr.
Dhikr, like repeating divine names.
Often, yes, or certain phrases. The point is to cultivate active presence, to consciously pull yourself out of heedlessness, out of just reacting to the world. It's about becoming aware, paired with self-accounting, checking your own intentions and actions, and even self-reproach when needed.
So it's an active inner practice.
Very active. Think of the famous story of Majnun and Layla. People couldn't see Layla's beauty, but Majnun could because his inner eye was purified. He saw her true essence, not just her appearance. We need to purify our inner eye to see the divine beloved in everything.
That really clarifies it. And Rumi's own experience seems to echo this, right? When he talks about the beloved testing him and showing him a flower that made all others seem worthless.
Absolutely. Look at me, Maulana, whom the beloved tested. He showed me a flower of which other flowers withered from envy. That encounter with ultimate truth, ultimate beauty, it just renders worldly attractions insignificant. It changes your whole perception.
It's a complete reorientation of the gaze.
Exactly. And Ustad Kouhpayeh links this beautifully to the idea of divine trials in the Quran.
Trials related to gaze.
Yes. Like Prophet David's trial wasn't the common sort of scandalous story you sometimes hear, but involved a misjudgment in a dispute, a test of his perception and fairness.
Okay.
And Adam's temptation in paradise with the tree of eternity, Shajar al-Khuld. Rumi interprets this not literally as an apple or wheat, but as Adam's gaze being misdirected towards wanting permanence in the impermanent world instead of focusing on the eternal source.
So even prophets face tests of where they direct their gaze.
Precisely. It shows how fundamental this is. Our gaze is constantly being tested, revealing our true attachment.
Now, there's another really intriguing concept you mentioned Rumi uses, the thief, or tarar. What's that about?
Right, the tarar. It's fascinating because it has this dual meaning in Rumi's work.
Okay.
On one hand, the divine can act like a kind of jealous thief, not in a negative way, but jealously guarding your heart, subtly stealing away any otherness, anything that competes with pure devotion to him. It's a divine purification.
So God steals distractions from the heart.
Sort of, yes.
Thank you.
But on the other hand, and this is maybe more immediately relevant for us, the thief is also your own ego, your nafs.
My own ego is the thief.
Yes. It subtly, sneakily steals your good deeds, your spiritual progress, your focus. Rumi tells a story about a mouse that, over time, eats 40 years' worth of carefully stored wheat bit by bit. That mouse is the ego undermining your efforts without you noticing.
Wow. So the first step is just recognizing this inner thief.
Exactly. Recognizing your own egoic tendencies, seeing how they operate, that's the crucial first step to disarming it. Stop the theft, basically.
Okay.
And Rumi brings us all together with this profound idea of God as the ultimate buyer.
Buyer.
Yes. The ultimate customer who wants to buy your existence, your honor, your very self. And he offers the highest possible price eternity in exchange for your perishable goods, your fleeting life and efforts.
That's a powerful image.
Isn't it? Rumi uses this market analogy. You give perishable goods, you take eternal return. What a beautiful customer and profitable market. It's an incredible deal, essentially.
So focus the gaze on that ultimate transaction.
Precisely. He warns, love with two beloveds is bad. You can't serve two masters. Give your heart, your gaze, entirely to that divine customer, and the ultimate protection for maintaining this focus.
Yes.
Rumi suggests it's the companionship of a perfect human, a true spiritual guide, like his Shamsi Tabrizi. Someone who offers that hidden spiritual support, helps keep your gaze fixed on the goal, and protects you from the world's distractions and illusions.
So bringing this incredible deep dive to a close, we've journeyed through Rumi's complex, profound understanding of the eye, from just seeing to deep spiritual insight and realizing its power to shape everything.
It's clear, isn't it? Our perception isn't passive, it's an active force. It can harm, it can heal, it can lead to misery or profound joy.
Absolutely. It really makes you think about how you're using your own gaze.
And that's really the final thought to leave you with, drawing from this whole exploration, especially Ustad Kouhpaye's insightful analysis. How consciously are you using your gaze every day? What lenses are you looking through without even realizing it?
What filters are shaping your reality?
Exactly. And what might fundamentally shift in your experience in your life if you really chose to purify that gaze? Not just physically cleaning your glasses, but spiritually refining the lens through which you see yourself, others, and the world. It's a lifelong exploration, really.